the first question I ask them is, when they come back for their review, would you go for your second treatment?
Yeah.
And all of them said yes, because I saw an improvement. I will definitely be happy to pay this X amount, because even on my first treatment, I am seeing an improvement. I wish I could post the before and after, but I guess it's quite limited with our posting nowadays due to restrictions. But yeah, and that to me speaks volume, because it allowed me to have that courage to continue with the device that I've chosen.
Welcome to Inside Aesthetics, the world's most listened to podcast for injectors and aesthetic businesses. I'm Dr. Jake Sloane, a facial aesthetic doctor, trainer and speaker with over 17 years experience.
And I'm David Segal, an aesthetic entrepreneur and business mentor who's been working within our industry for over 2 decades. IA is a podcast aimed at educating aesthetic practitioners from around the world. The information contained within our episodes is general in nature and should not be used by the general public to make health or treatment decisions. You should seek the advice of a qualified healthcare professional in your country and have a bespoke consultation.
For our latest news, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and now you can also watch our full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. All of our links are down in the show notes below. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Inside Aesthetics. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see that we're doing our 4th podcast at the Fresh Life Conference. David, you enjoying your conference so far?
It's been great, really good. As I said, Brisbane, I had never actually experienced this part of Brisbane before. It's beautiful, we're by the water, great people, great vibe. It's just been awesome.
Yeah. So thanks again to the team at Fresh Clinics for creating this beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And today we have the team from Laseraid. So David, do you want to tell us what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah. So Laseraid here, they joined us on the podcast previously. We're talking about how to essentially integrate a device successfully into your practice. So most people that are listening to this podcast, injectors, business owners, obviously taking care of people's skin from an injectable perspective. But as the market's shifting and maturing, we need to be looking at how we expand what we do in our clinic. So being able to look after people's skin. And the challenge with devices is, how do you know which one to buy? How do you know which company to deal with? How are you going to afford it? How do you successfully integrate it into your practice? So we're going to be unpacking that today, finding out what you guys can do to help our listeners or our audience potentially integrate a device successfully into their practice. And we've got lovely Rogen, who I've known from a past life. He used to work to me for many years at Laser Clinics Australia. You're the reason I actually have no hair. So, but
I love that.
Yeah, but you've gone on to bigger and better things after we've parted ways from Laser Clinics. You're a proud business owner now, doing very well. And we're going to talk about you as a case study, I guess, in terms of how you went down the Laseraid model and successfully.
I'm so excited to be here. It's been great. 8 years later, right?
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to talk with you. It was just a dream, and it's just so humbling now to take space.
Yeah.
And just really be me and sharing that successful story to my colleagues out there who are very in doubt of taking that big step from being a pure injector and navigating through a beauty device. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. We should probably mention at this point that it is the sponsored podcast, so thank you, Laseraid, for supporting us. And whilst it is sponsored, this is something I do feel very passionate about as a business owner. Not anymore, not of clinics. But I guess I'm really excited about it because for me, at one stage I had 6 clinics with multiple devices, and buying these devices is so bloody expensive. And I think it is an integral part of an aesthetic practice these days. So the solution that you guys have come up with, I think if I was a business owner these days, I'd definitely be looking at it.
Yeah. Now, Ash, do you want to reintroduce yourself? You were with us on episode, I think it was 281. But tell everyone again, if they missed that one, what's your role at Laseraid?
So I'm the commercial sales manager at Laseraid. So we are very busy at the moment at Fresh Life with the Inside Aesthetic guys. I basically run the sales and clinical teams, which is a really important part of our business. And looking forward to having a chat about it further today.
Fantastic. Now, just tell people if they missed that episode, who are Laseraid? What do you guys do in a nutshell?
Yeah, so we are a distributor of medical and aesthetic devices. So we have everything from RF microneedling, which is what Rogen has in his clinic, hair removal lasers, Q-switch picos, LED. We've just launched a new dermafacial device recently. And I think what makes us really unique is that we offer all of our devices on a subscription model. So we offer them on a rental capacity. And bundled into that rental, that weekly rental fee is service and training.
Right.
So unlike majority of our competitors out there, we do all of your servicing and ongoing training and support. So we really communicate to our customers that you don't have to be dipping into your pocket constantly for service and maintenance. And if you ever need extra training, you're not constantly paying for that.
Great. Now, how would you describe, I guess, from a company perspective, where are we with the market right now? And obviously here, uniquely in Australia, we've had a lot of regulatory stuff going on as well. We won't sort of dwell on that. But where do you see where we are right now? What are your observations?
Well, I guess in two parts. We definitely see a real trend towards people wanting that real glass. I think it's been from Korea. We've seen that real glass skin. So everyone wants that super clear, super refined skin. And we can't get that with injectables alone. We also can't get it with device alone. So it's all about integrating device, skincare, and injectables together. So we're definitely seeing that trend at the moment. And I guess alongside that, the issue is that for the last couple of years, we've had really high interest rates. So clinics have seen either clients not coming as frequently or not spending as much per visit. So that's impacting the business. Or we've seen business owners not wanting to be redrawing off mortgages because of interest rates being higher, or they actually can't get finance because of the interest rates being so high and banks being a little bit more risk adverse at the moment. So that's definitely what we're seeing. I have been at Laseraid for just over a year. And one of the reasons I joined Laseraid was because of the business model, because I did work for a manufacturer prior and saw that it was getting harder and harder. People really wanted devices, leads were coming in, but the conversion rates were low because people weren't wanting to invest in devices and paying, $100,000 for a piece of equipment. So that's definitely what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I can see you nodding your head, Rogen. Are you agreeing with all of this?
I can see actually the truth to what Ashley's telling us. However, from my perspective, I always have the sense of if you're not doing it today, what's the end result to that? It's about overcoming that fear, really, for fear inhibits us to grow. And I myself has been in the industry for so many years that I cannot just rely on my injectable skills. I somehow master my own craft in the field of fillers or the Botox. And for me, being diagnosed ADHD and being medicated allowed me to have that mindset of how can I mitigate this risk by taking space of being just out there, overcoming the fear and providing results that are not just mainly plain injectables, but as well as devices. And I kid you not, we were there in Thailand last year. And I was hungry for what device to incorporate in my practice, knowing what's the latest, what works for different type of skin from your Fitzpatrick 1 to 6. I've already done my due research, and voila, after that, week later, I signed up to Still Firm.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you're talking about Thailand. We saw you in Thailand with another laser company. So you were doing your research, literally traveling around the world, which is good. Yeah,
it's good. I was already there. Yeah.
So a question for both of you, but I'll start with Ash. So you spoke about the challenges with the economics. So coming up with the money, patients spending less. Do you think potentially there's also like an expectation from patients now that when they go to see their cosmetic injector, that they're going to be able to look after their skin concerns as well? I mean, I'm of the assumption that people that come in for Inject are probably getting their skin treated somewhere. If it's not with you, it's somewhere else. Do you think that people are maybe starting to realize that that's kind of the expectation now from patients as they become more sophisticated?
I think, and I was going to say with Rogen earlier, that if Rogen didn't decide to invest in a device, those clients would be going elsewhere.
Exactly.
And I think at the moment, even if I look at my own behavior, I'm probably spending a little bit less on injectables and trying to spend a little bit more on treatment.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's probably the behavior that we're seeing at the moment from patients as well. So if you don't invest in a device and you don't carry a skincare line in your business and you're doing a lot of injectables, are you then basically handing your clients over on a silver platter to another business? So I'd say that's probably the biggest risk, but definitely, yeah, I definitely agree that clients are spending money on injectables, skincare, and treatment.
Yeah. So we'd say the problem is multifaceted. So one, the economy, two, like client sophistication. Then we've also, as you said, we've got like such a big influence from Korean beauty or Asian beauty now. In terms of people's understanding of having good quality skin. It's not just about augmenting someone's features or, knocking out a line or a wrinkle. I mean, Jake, you work in a multidisciplinary clinic and you don't treat skin, but you've armed yourself with enough knowledge to be able to refer to other members within your team. You've done things with your consent and patient gathering information process where you actually have set up quite a good system to be able to refer people within the practice. And so maybe, what do you think? I mean, you're going to give a workshop on this later as well today. So.
Yeah, we'll be with you guys at 2:30 with Rogen.
Yeah.
I was just sort of listening to your conversation that you were just having, guys, and I remember working at LCA with you. LCA, I met Rogen at LCA, and in fact, I met Ash at LCA because you used to come to our clinic. It's like
very small incestuous world, yeah.
I remember when I first was an injector, if someone came in for a skin concern, I would panic and go, "Oh, that's not my thing. I don't know," and I didn't know what to say. And us injectors weren't armed with that information. We really weren't. So I think we've all sort of had to do a sort of self-discovery journey of sort of dermatology 101 and what's a laser and what's pigmentation and what's rosacea, uniquely to Australia, what's happening to people's skin.
Exactly.
So, if you're a new injector, I guess what I'm saying is you can't afford to not know, but it's going to take time to obviously understand all of that.
Yeah.
So, so we'll talk about that in your workshop later.
Yeah, totally. So in terms of like the increased market competition, this is to you, Rogen, did you sort of feel the pressure from people around you that you needed to maybe start introducing skin, or is this something that you instinctually kind of felt within, what you're talking to your own clients about and what you were seeing the behavior, the pattern starting to move towards?
It's actually embracing the fact that consumers' behavior change and they tend to follow the trend. As we all know, healthy skin is in. And this is back in the day when Cassandra Smith.
Yeah.
I would
Shout out.
quote, shout out Cass. Hey.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's about the canvas and the artist.
Yeah.
For an artist to begin his masterpiece, it has to have a beautiful canvas. And the canvas is the skin. Imagine someone who's had this crippling skin and they come in there for a filler treatment. How's the outcome would be in the case of you, Jake? Would you inject straight away? Probably.
Totally not.
But in the day, you would. Oh, yeah, I'll do it 8 years ago. But as I evolve, I become focused onto the holistic approach. Rather than just giving the patients or clients what they want. I'll stand by saying, here's we can begin. I understand that you have you're aiming for a beautiful lips. However, lips is like the picture frame. We need to have a beautiful frame. And how can we start with that one is to have a better framing and a good canvas.
Totally
to
agree.
work with.
We're going to be talking about this a lot this afternoon.
Yeah.
No, but it's right.
I
think what you're saying is patients don't actually sometimes understand what beauty is. Or healthy look is. And, if they follow a trend, that's fine. I understand why they do that. But it can make them look worse, actually. And then you do exactly what they don't want, which is to look unnatural and weird and people talking behind their back. So sometimes as an injector, you've got to take control of that consult and actually guide them, be their ambassador, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is where I think Canberra demographics are as well, which is quite helpful. They want a very natural look.
So conservative market.
It's a very conservative market. And when you provide that result for them, they talk. And once they talk, it spreads like a bushfire. And I think that's where it becomes more successful.
Yeah.
I think too, like clients or patients are actually associating pigment and redness more with aging these days as well. Whereas, 10 years ago, they would ignore redness or vascular or pigmentation and just focus on smoothing and filling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's just a shift across so many different areas of the industry. You know, you've got the wellness, integrative health side of things. People start talking about hormones, and you know, there's so much. You know, the biostims, PDRNs, and there's so many products now that are focusing on skin quality. And then at the same time, we've seen, you know, the reduction in fillers. And, you know, Jake gave quite a good talk yesterday around, you know, are fillers dead? No, they're still there. They're still great, but they're not the tool for everything. I think that's we probably use them incorrectly. We use them too much for the wrong indications.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we can sort of wheel you back to devices, Rogen, because, you introduced one recently. So when you were injector only sort of clinic, at what point did you go, this isn't enough? And what things did you start looking at before you made your decision to obviously work with Laseraid?
Well, it's having a checklist for me. It's like, what particular device that I can invest that address first six types of skin, which is the Fitzpatrick 1 to 6. Secondly, is there any downtime? If there's minimal downtime, that's it, because the behavior of my Canberra clients, shout out to my Canberra clients, they, as much as they like to have a downtime, if you can have a less downtime, they'll sign up for it.
Yeah.
And obviously, results and safe parameters. Results mean you do not get that on the first treatment, but it should be progressive. Because if you get that no downtime risk, or very minimal, clients will come back because they understand that when it comes to skin journey, it doesn't happen overnight, isn't it? So they will come back, and setting that realistic expectation, really, that it's a journey with them rather than just a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Who's your demographic? Do you see a lot of Filipino, or is it Caucasian Australians?
It's more of it's very multicultural for me.
Yeah.
So I have, the darkest of the dark tones. Clients who were born and raised in South Africa, then, the Fitzpatrick one. So I want to cover all those multicultural clients, because if you think about it, Canberra is very multicultural.
It is. I mean, there's a big Sudanese community in Canberra as well. So it's a melting pot of like lots of different cultures in a really small area. So, okay, so I think we've established that, there is a need for a device in clinics.
Yeah.
I guess the next challenge is, well, how do you select the right one? Because honestly, there are lots of great devices. There's lots of great device companies on the market. There's no shortage of technologies that might be suitable for your business.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge is, well, who's the right company for you? Who do you sort of connect with? Who's going to look after you? There's so many things to think about in terms of, service, supporting you in terms of education, helping you successfully integrate the device into your practice. So talk us through like your checklist. So, what kind of a device, and then what kind of company did you want to work for? How did you sort of, work your way through to the point where you came to the conclusion that this was the decision that you wanted to make and go with Laseraid?
Perfect. And that's a really good question. So first and foremost, it's a device that would really cater the Fitzpatrick 1 to 6.
Yeah.
It basically is having a good consumer spectrum to cover for that device. Secondly, is it the latest? When was it manufactured? Where is it coming from? A third is which manufacturer or which distributor is it coming from? And I was so lucky that with Laseraid, they have the Silpherm X. And Silpherm X is actually, I would say, the safest when it comes to radiofrequency microneedling. It's quite popular in the US back then, as in a year before I touched base with Laseraid. I did not know that it's with Laseraid. So I know it was Silpherm X for me because results are speaking for themselves. There's a lot of doctors, practitioners from the US, South Korea, even in Thailand, that speaks highly of it, and they are not paid partnership. And then second of all, it's the no downtime. And for me, it's about, I need to get my hand on it. And then it so happened it's with Laseraid. And from there, I was like, perfect. Because I remember Laseraid, they are in partnership with laser clinics. They're the one who service the lasers there, and it's like this is just aligning with what I wanted for a device.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I came across with Laseraid, and it was a bonus because it was they have a scheme like rent-own scheme, and for me it's like, oh great, this is a risky move, but when you have that basically a principle of try before you buy thing, why not?
Yeah.
You will never see the results until you step forward.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your podcast. Just a quick message about our Patreon and how you can support us as a podcast. So David, what is Patreon?
So Patreon is an on-demand subscription service that allows you to access our global community of practitioners, business owners, and essentially it's a place where you can come together, get positive support, advice. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced KOL, there is a place for everybody.
Yeah, so if you download the Patreon app, search for Inside Aesthetics, there are two main options to subscribe. You can become a free member where we can communicate with you, share our news, involve you in competitions, etc. Or you can become a full subscriber for 50 Australian dollars a month. And there you get access to the WhatsApp community where people are sharing and getting advice. But also within the Patreon app, David does a lot of business coaching and mentoring. So I think you've drilled down to various topics that have cropped up that have been communicated in our WhatsApp group.
I mean, just today we recorded some content. It's quite a nuanced space, and the challenges that business owners and practitioners come up against in this space is quite difficult to get advice on. So always happy to share my knowledge and all of my mistakes and lessons learned along the way.
And then I, of course, tackle injectable content. I often involve patients or talk about new products, anatomy, and all that good stuff. So if you like what we do, consider subscribing to our Patreon. Now let's get back into the podcast. So from your perspective, maybe from a company going into clinics, and Rogan's obviously done his homework, but you probably meet clinic owners who aren't as researched. So how do you guys sort of help those clinics who need help identifying what device they need?
Yeah. Well, I've just been dying to say while Rogan's been speaking about that Silfirm X is also very complementary to what Rogan does in his business. So when it does definitely treat Fitzpatrick 1 to 6, but it is so great for injectors because it complements everything that you guys are doing in your business, which probably led you to RF microneedling as well. I would say, so when we generally when like a lead comes through or we're chatting with a business owner, our questions will be around, what are you currently doing? What indications are you struggling to treat? Who's walking through the door and you're having to turn them away to go elsewhere? Also, are there any budgets in mind? What other devices are you looking at? We do have the rental model. So as Rogan mentioned, we've got what we call our subscription model. It's relatively risk-free. So the clinic owner would pay a 4-week bond. That bond, then as soon as that's paid, we deliver the device. We do all the clinical training, and our account managers are then paid every day to constantly support that clinic. So Rogan sends me messages on Instagram once a fortnight wanting more Silfirm tips, and I very quickly respond to him. But the whole idea of our business model is that you get that support. And if you decided after 3 months that, you know what, I gave it a go, devices aren't for me, we need to pivot and look somewhere else, you return your device, we give you bond back.
Absolutely.
So
very handy.
I guess there's that comfortability for the business owner to know that they are maybe taking a risk. They might be a little bit scared. We will do everything in our power to make sure that we place the right device in the business the first time. But they also have the luxury of, if they go, look, I heard Rogan on the Inside Aesthetics podcast and I want to get a Silfirm. And then after 3 months, they go, you know what, it's not really for us. We want to do, tattoo removal or something. We also have a tattoo removal device. So we would work with them to swap that device out for something different. So we do, we definitely don't sort of place the device and hands off and see you in 12 months when you want another laser.
Yeah.
We are constantly in communication with that business owner. So we definitely, there's a big, consultation ahead of us just placing a device in someone's business.
Yeah.
The other side of it too is that with the subscription model, it's actually risky for us because we don't want to give you the wrong device because then it's just going to come back. So when you rent a device, we have to go buy that equipment. We've paid for it up front from the manufacturer. We place it in your business. It takes us about 1.5 to 2 years to actually get the return on that device. So if I've gone and bought a device for Rogan and then after 3 months he goes, oh, don't like it, we get that device back and then we've got to try to figure out what to do with that device.
Yeah.
We've got to get it into another clinic quickly. So we do everything in our power to make sure we give you the right device the first time.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of financially tied in this scenario because, as you said, like a traditional manufacturer, will sell a device and then, okay, good luck. And some, and there are companies that are, do this more than others. I think, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but you're just financially incentivized to make sure, hey, we want to make sure this stays in your clinic. We want you to potentially maybe even buy this device one day, or get a secondary device. So I think that works really well. So maybe let's talk about the integration process, because for me, when I'm talking to my clients, when they want to buy a device, once you've got past the financial challenges and, okay, how are you going to afford it? How are you going to put it in your clinic? Well, then how are you now actually going to start getting your patients to want treatments? How do you get your team involved? How do you get them excited about it? Because I've probably made every mistake in the book with buying so many devices over the years, with things that worked, things that didn't work. You might think you've got the greatest device and your patient's going to love it. If your staff aren't hyped about it and they're not on board, you're like pushing, pushing shit up a hill, basically. So, how do you sort of go through that process of helping them integrate that device successfully?
So I deal with lots of clinics. So you'll have the clinics that are like, I want it tomorrow. Let me have my device tomorrow. I need it. We've got to have training. And I generally say to people, it's 4 weeks is a really good buffer, 4 to 6 weeks. So in our subscription model, for example, get your bond paid. We'll allocate you a device. And in that 4 to 6 weeks, I'll get one of the trainers to do some theory training with the team. You like straight away, once we've done that training, you can start doing skin consults and telling patients, we've got this device coming. We're having our training on this date. We can book you in. There's one clinic that I look after there in Queensland, and they had 200 and something treatments already booked and paid for before they even had the device in the clinic.
Wow.
On a silver.
Yeah. Wow.
It was lots of packages, but they basically paid their device off before they even had it in the clinic. So it's, it really comes down to, how hyped your team is, how educated the team is on the device. Are they excited? Have you got them on board? But also, we've all got, TikTok and Instagram now. You can start putting teasers out, get the clients excited. And if you're not doing that before you even get the device, you kind of get the device, you have your training, and then you're already on the back foot.
Yeah.
So it definitely is all about, hyping the clients up, telling the clients what's coming, handing out information before you even get it. And then we do the training, and then you're kind of ready to go. So it's definitely important to be prepared in what, you might want the device. And a lot of business owners think, if I get this device, this other clinic over here's had all this success, I'm going to get this device now. It's not the same. Like every clinic's so different. You've all got different clients. You've all got different, therapists that work in the business. And I mean, you guys would know being from laser clinics, the clinics all do the same treatments.
Yeah.
They all have the same protocols, but every clinic is slightly different in how they operate and, how much revenue they make. So, I'd definitely say that, planning out 4 to 6 weeks is ideal. Get the therapists on board, get the clients on board, start promoting.
I could really agree to that. Remember when we have a launching in La Forme Aesthetic? Yeah, we have a launching on when the device arrived. It's just like having that joy and excitement to, I have a device here. I know, and again, knowing your clients and knowing that you have that device that works for different skin concerns. And because you're so well hyped up, they've been with me for the last 8 years. They easily sign up. It's like, let's sell 3 packages right there. Let's do your treatment today. That's it. It's like, they follow the energy that you're giving.
Can we give our listeners an idea of how much a device, I don't mean a silver, but just
a
laser or a device might cost? Because we're all kind of in the industry, we kind of know, but what sort of numbers are we talking about if you bought something outright?
If you bought something outright?
Yeah.
I'd probably say broad, like it's pretty broad, but I'd probably say you're looking at...
You give us a range if that's easier. Yeah.
You're probably looking at between 60 and 200,000.
Yeah.
Depending on what
significant
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With our rental model. So we do sell devices outright, and Rogen actually he started off on subscription.
Yeah.
but he moved to an outright purchase, within 3 months? So,
within 3 months.
yeah.
Oh, no. It was 6 weeks.
It was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I was like, no, it was 6 weeks. And then,
So, yeah, he moved to an outright purchase and then he paid his device off within 6 months,
Wow.
Yeah.
like his finance.
Is that unusual? Sounds pretty good.
I'd say it depends on the device. So, and I guess this again is one of those consultation questions is when you're looking at a device, if, you've got to have the clientele or the patients that will pay. So if the device is $200,000, how much are you going to charge per treatment?
Yeah.
And then do you have patients that would pay that?
Yeah.
And that's all, you might want a particular device, but it might not be suitable for your business. So that's a really big part of it. But yeah, Rogen had a really successful start with his Silpherm.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess with subscription, we try to price our weekly subscription to be 1 to 2 treatments per week to cover your costs.
Manageable.
Yeah,
Which is
so
really decent. Yeah.
Silpherm X is $650 per week on subscription.
Yeah.
It's 1 to 2 treatments per week to cover your cost.
Mhm.
When we say $650, a lot of people go, "Oh my God, that's so much money." But when you break it down and say, "Look, well, it's 1 to 2 treatments," typically we see Silpherm. How much do you do? $400 for a treatment?
No, it's $550.
Oh, you do $550. Yeah. So Rogen, when he was on subscription.
He's premium. Come on.
Sorry. But yeah, I'd say probably the lowest price we see is around $400.
Yeah.
The highest price I've seen is $1,200.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
You need to put your prices up.
You're
Really.
but yeah, we try to really make that rental fee 1 to 2 treatments a week. So if you do your 1 to 2 treatments on a Monday, Tuesday, the rest of your week is profit.
So tell us about your clinic. Like, who do you work with? How did you juggle your time when bringing in a device, which is kind of very different logistically, especially if you're the sole practitioner of your clinic. So how did you do it?
So basically, it's like being medicated ADHD, because otherwise I would just be so messy.
I have been in his clinic and witnessed what he does.
Yeah. So it's, again, time management is quite important, and checking out my calendar. If I am able to cater more clients, I see clients probably on an average 8 to 10. And how can I work with that 8 to 10 clients by adding up another device, which will need another 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm studying my schedule, then booking the clients, particularly with this Silpherm, in a way that it doesn't exhaust me.
Yeah.
I work obviously with my work wife, Kathy. Hi, Kathy Bates. La Forme by Marrakech Cosmetics.
She used to work at laser clinics as well with me, yeah.
So basically, Kathy, we share this space. She's focused on the wellness. I'm focused onto the devices.
Okay.
So it's like a very, how would I describe it? It's like we work hand in hand,
Yeah.
though we have our client base, and referring to that. If I have something that needs some weight loss or wellness, I will give it to Kathy. And with Kathy's being an instructor herself, if there's anything that an interest from her clients about improving their skin quality, particularly from that superficial level, something that out of her tools that she can provide, she refers it to me for a Silpherm treatment. So that's really handy.
So has it impacted how many injectable patients you can see? Like you're returning toxin patients? Have you had to sort of rethink your diary because you've now got to fit in, extra 40-minute treatments for your devices?
So for me, it's actually quite variable because there's those clients who, because of, the financial crisis, or they're going through financial stuff, I would see them probably just for twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I have another device, some people who are willing to spend that X amount of money has now a time, or I have no availabilities for them.
Okay, yeah, makes
So
sense.
it's quite variable.
Yeah.
To say my retention rate hasn't gone down.
Great.
It's an 80%. So
That's great. Well, I mean, we're talking to lots of different situations
Yeah.
here. People that are solo injectors, people that have,
Yeah.
multiple therapists working within their business. So I guess you're going to have to work out how you're going to manage this within your practice, depending on what it looks like. But I think, the message that I'd like people to understand is this is a long game.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you potentially cut your availability to do Inject, are you in the long run increasing the retention rate in your business? Because now you're taking care of more than just their injectables. So you're doing wellness, you're now doing devices and skin treatments. So yes, maybe you won't be able to see as many inject patients in a day, but your business is growing, your retention's increasing, you're probably going to potentially could bring on staff in the future. So it's more than just about how much money you can make on the day.
Absolutely.
It's about, how am I going to hold on to these patients in the long term? What's the lifetime value of this patient across like multiple modalities now?
Yeah. And have you thought about that moving forwards? Would you maybe delegate the device to someone who just does that day in, day out? You go back to inject, or are you enjoying using the device?
I enjoy pretty much the holistic approach. Pretty much I have plans in the future, but it's about doing it now so that my 10-year self from now will thank me for doing it well ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were talking about this in yesterday's podcast with the girls from Derm House. Like, if you future-proof yourself and sort of step away from doing all the treatments yourself, maybe in 10 years you would sell your business because, you've just got therapists doing the treatments.
Yeah. It's how I foresee myself in the next 10 years' time.
Yeah.
It's, again, future-proofing myself, because who knows what's going to happen with injectables. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, nurses are not allowed to inject anymore. So what are my options available on hand that I started now?
Yeah, it's a
You're
really good
scaring
point.
everyone that's listening.
It might be scary, but it's a valid point. Yeah.
It's being practical. So at least I have already the device that I've become a master to.
Yeah. And that would be a question that we'd ask as well. So I think we mentioned it in the first podcast that we did when in my last job, nurses would want to buy a device, but they're actually fully booked for 8 weeks doing inject.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense for them to introduce something. But what Rogan's done is introduce something now while he does have the time. And then as his business gets busier, I guess at some point you'll have to make a call to hire someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you have to be constantly evolving yourself in your practice. You can't just be doing the same thing all the time. You need to be growing, expanding, researching what you can do to further, help your patients and take care of, things are just moving so quick now. I mean, what are you seeing in your clinic, Jake? I mean, you've got multiple therapists within your clinic, multiple devices. Are you seeing a big shift in the way that sort of patients are, moving around your clinic, their expectations, how much more of a focus there is on skin?
Yeah, look, we've tried to keep up with the times. We've sort of got multiple different platforms, devices, and we've also got plastic surgery. So we sort of try and cater to everything. But yeah, I mean, you just got to keep up. You've got it, like Rogan said right at the start, you've got to sort of keep your finger on the pulse. And if people are asking for stuff and you can't cater to that, you're going to lose them. They're going to go to the clinic next door. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's sensible. What common mistakes do you see clinics make when they're entering into the sort of device buying world?
Look, I definitely see wrong device being chosen initially. So it's really sad when you actually walk into a business and you might be cold calling or just popping in and you introduce yourself and start talking about devices and they say, I've traumatized, I'm scarred, I'm never buying another device ever again. I bought a device from this company 5 years ago and it's sitting in the back corner collecting dust. And it really, going and getting a loan for $100,000 and paying that loan off over 5 years and then that device not bringing a return on investment is awful. Like that's
horrendous.
So much money.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to know how much you pay for that device in the end with all the interest rates and things, but it's really sad. I think I listened to someone yesterday speak and she was saying that she purchased her when she was looking at devices. For her, it was really important the company that she bought from. And she had to have a really good connection with the people around her that would help her in that business. So I think that's really important. So just making sure, do your due diligence. So gone are the days where, I guess device companies can kind of get away with dumping and leaving. I think
Before you bought the device, they're your best friend. They're in your clinic all the time. They promise you the world, and then as soon as you've handed over the money and the device is in your account, they're like gone.
Yeah.
And then there's other things as well, and I'm not going to mention which device companies, but I've seen things like recertification fees that people weren't told about. I had 3 clients that all came to me within a very short space of time who had a device that wasn't working out within their practice and they wanted to get rid of it. And all of a sudden, the device manufacturer just appeared out of nowhere and said, well, you've got to pay like a $50,000 recertification fee. And they had no idea about this stuff.
So what does that mean? What is it for?
Well, I think there are some control mechanisms in place because they want to, stop like the secondhand device market, like people selling devices. And there's probably some valid reasons behind that around, compliance. And these are devices that can do a lot of damage in the wrong hands. So I understand, there needs to be some control mechanisms around how these devices are handled. But I think there's also like, some price, some gouging that's going on there as well, and these people were like mortified that they weren't told about this, wasn't in their sales contract. So there are some dirty tricks that are played, which is, it's unconscionable from my perspective. I mean, you've been in the device game for a while, Ash. I mean, do you see that kind of stuff? Do you hear these horror stories?
Yeah, and I think making sure that you just ask lots of questions around, well, this is what the device costs me right now, but what does it cost me for a year of warranty?
Yeah.
How much are you going to charge me for ongoing training? And have all of those things in writing to fall back on, because we've seen lots of manufacturers, I guess, say, oh, this is how much it costs. And you get all excited. You get really roped up into the hype, and you might follow a, plastic surgeon in America who's doing great things with the device and you want it. But just making, it might be right for that particular person in the US, but is it right for you? And I guess really having a good think about, okay, this is how much the device costs. This is how long it's going to take me to get my return on investment if I charge this for the treatment. My client's going to pay this for the treatment. And then once you've done all of that work and you still think, okay, this device is for me, if you're paying that device off over 5 years, what are your monthly repayments on that loan? But then once that 1 year of warranty runs out and all your training's been done, what is the likelihood of that device going to cost you on top of your monthly loan repayments to keep it going?
Yeah.
And they're all the things that you need to consider.
That's a good insight, by the way.
Yes.
Which I did not take into consideration.
We'll talk about it later.
But the sales I made speak for itself.
But these are the mistakes that we see, is people not, I guess asking all these questions before they get a device, and then they have their 1 year of warranty expires, and then all these things start popping up. Yeah. And look, devices. There's no device on the planet that doesn't break down. They break down. David would do it. And I think, little thing, well, they're not little, they're actually big things, but wanting to know, okay, so if I do have a breakdown, especially when you're in Canberra, how quickly are you going to get to me? Because if you have a laser down for 3 or 4 days, well, how much revenue is that costing you?
Yeah.
And does your business rely on
headache?
Headache and patients getting annoyed and, reschedule. Especially if you're busy, you're going to know how to reschedule them. Where are you going to find the time if you've already got a fully booked clinic,
Yeah. So asking questions like, how many service engineers do you have and where are they located? And right now, what's your uptime? What's your basic uptime on the devices that you already have out in the field?
Yeah.
Do you have clinics that are waiting 2 weeks for a service tech to show up?
Yeah.
So they're all the things that I'd be asking if I was.
Well, yeah. And I mean, to go one step further with that, I mean, when you're doing your research and you want to select a device for your business, I would always encourage people to, just hop on the Google and look up the device that you're looking at and find a clinic that has it and call them. Don't call the people that the company give you. I mean, Rogen's here as a case study, fine. But I mean, beyond that, go and find random people, maybe in different states, and just go, what's it like working with this company? People will probably, be quite happy to tell you. Yeah. And do your own due diligence. You can't just rely on everything to be handed to you on a silver platter. Like, be a bit, do a bit of investigative work.
Yeah. When you got your device, Rogen, so you pay your 4-week bond, I think you said, and you're paying roughly for 2 patients a week back to Laseraid to start paying off the device as like rent. Is that right, Ash?
Yes.
Yeah, rent.
And then what happens in that sort of interim period? Like, how much training does Rogen need? How many sessions? What sort of feedback are you guys giving each other? Like, just walk us through, I guess, onboarding a new device.
So basically, when that device arrived, I have chosen 3 treatment models. And who are these treatment models are different Fitzpatrick, different areas of concern.
Yeah.
I started with the anti-aging one. So she's a mature client on her 60s, doesn't want any filler, doesn't want any Botox, just want to have a skin treatment for her to just feel fresh.
Yeah.
Secondly was Esther, our lovely Esther.
Oh, I used to work
She's
with
a
us.
expatriate in between 3 to 4, so I was testing it
Yeah.
with a darker skin tone, and her area of concern was this submental fullness, and another one was actually he's half Asian, half Caucasian, and his area of concern was the acne. And this allowed me to engage as to what is the capacity of this device. I have 6 weeks to prove its efficacy. And with these chosen models, what are their feedbacks? And if this device works, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I'll return it.
Oh, were you just?
And again, I'm allowing my clients to, speak the truth because this is an expensive investment.
Yeah.
And 3 of them, it's like the first question I ask them is when they come back for their review, would you go for your second treatment?
Yeah.
And all of them said yes, because I saw an improvement. I will definitely will be happy to pay this X amount because even on my first treatment, I am seeing an improvement. I wish I could post the before and after, but I guess it's quite limited with our posting nowadays due to restrictions. But yeah, and they said, yes, I'm happy to come back to continue with my treatment. And that to me speaks volume because it allowed me to have that courage to continue with the device that I've chosen.
Yeah. I'm not giving legal advice here, guys, so don't listen to me, but I would have thought with a device, that's the perfect time to maybe use your before and afters because it's the S4 drugs where there's the issue with the before and afters. And maybe that is an avenue for clinics to differentiate itself.
That's my understanding, but maybe have it. Nobody can.
But ask your lawyers, don't.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's quite scary, but I'll
You're being
look
ultra
into it.
conservative, which is very sensible.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
But generally, what happens is, so depending on the device, you will get in anywhere from 1 to 4 days of clinical training.
Yes.
On Silfirm, we normally just do a day. We get your device delivered. We'll do a day of training.
Yeah.
Then the account manager will just be touching base. If it's something like a Q switch or a Pico where there's lots of indications to learn, it's a little bit more complex. You might do 4 days of clinical training over a 6-week period. And we usually just customize that initial training on what's the most important thing that you need to learn. So with Silfirm, generally, we can do a full day of training. We normally do like 9:30 till 4 or something like that. Try to do as many models as we can.
Yeah.
If it's something like a Q switch, we'll do, if pigment's the most important thing, we'll do like a day of pigment, a day of tattoo, day of skin toning. So it varies.
Yeah. Okay.
Rogan's obviously in Canberra. We don't have someone based in Canberra, but his account manager will be touching. Well, Holly's actually just moved to Queensland, so she's in Queensland now. But you've got Danae and Courtney in New South Wales. Yeah. So Danae would visit Canberra sort of every sort of 8 to 12 weeks. She'd reach out to Rogan when she's there to do some more training. But Rogan can call us anytime for more training.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I was going to say, because I'm quite a cynical person. If I was going to even just rent a device, I want to see more than one case study. I want to do, like you said, a whole day. You get like 10, 15 patients feedback, which is great. So it's glad that you're doing that.
And you can also like lean on us too. So a big part of our support is, if you do have an adverse in the clinic, like things happen, you would from working in your clinics, adverses happen. And, we can support you through the adverse, giving you advice. If we often see therapists that have caused an adverse, or nurses or whoever, be quite stressed about then going and using that piece of equipment after that adverse has occurred, so we can go back and do some more retraining. We also find the biggest thing that I've found is when you do only 1 day of training, the theory kind of goes in one ear and out the other. People can only retain so much information in that time, and then they're just so excited to get their hands on the device. When you go back 3 months later and say, let's do the theory again, they're like, oh, so
bad habits already crept in, have they?
Yes. So it's good. It's really good to have that constant sort of retraining as well. So, but that's generally what the process is. You pay your bond, get your training. Yeah.
Do you have any online resources, or is it all in person for your
training? We're actually working on that. So that's Lainey and I are working on that at the moment. So we're in the process of pre-recording training sessions, and we're building a back end of our website. So our customers will have a portal they can log into.
Great.
And there'll be videos, marketing material, clinical papers, all that sort of stuff in the back end. At the moment, we send that to you when you get your device.
Yes.
But we want to have a portal where they can log in and access it.
Yep.
But that's all coming.
Maybe we could put some of that in our Patreon to show people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly the clinical.
Yeah, the
data.
clinical papers are
It's
great.
quite imperative, really. But there is, by the way, because I did my due diligence.
Great.
So talk to me a little bit around the process of someone renting the device and then going to purchase. What happens with the money that they've paid for the rental? Is that sort of just gone, or does that money actually potentially go towards the purchase price? I remember we discussed it, but I can't remember what the details were.
Well, yes. So with that rental bond I made, it's actually deducted to the full price.
Okay.
When I decided to, I'm gonna buy that outright. So it's that X amount of rental bond minus the agreed price equals the full amount.
Okay, so let's say the SIL firm, let's say it's $80,000 for a SIL firm. You start paying rent. You've paid off $10,000 worth of rent, and you call Ash and say, "Hey, Ash, actually, let's get married. I actually want this device now permanently." So, are you saying that device purchase price is now $70,000 they paid off? No. Okay, so how?
So what we do is with our subscription fleet or our rental fleet, they circulate. So generally with Silfern, because it is our most popular device at the moment, pretty much almost every rental customer is getting a brand new one.
Yeah.
There might be the odd case if someone's returned it and then you're the next rental customer, you don't get a brand new one. And we're very transparent about that. If a customer, say for example, they got a brand new Silfern, they rented it for a year and then said, right, I want to buy it outright, we would not necessarily let them use their rental payments to, deduct from their full payment of their device. But we would say, okay, that device we normally sell for this, but it's now 12 months old. It's essentially secondhand.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're not going to buy,
Right.
When you buy a brand new car, it's very different to the price you pay
Yeah, of
for
course.
the year-old.
Yeah.
So we would give you a price based on what that device would cost if it was secondhand, not brand new.
Yeah.
Sure.
So current.
So
You just got basically
yeah.
current market value.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So we definitely don't.
Sorry.
Or someone might say, look, I didn't get a brand new device when I started renting. It's 3 years old. I'd really prefer just to get a brand new one.
Yeah.
So we would say, okay, well, the best price we can do on a brand new one's this. And we would absolutely honour that because they've been a customer, a current customer. But yeah, basically, we don't necessarily go, okay, you've paid $10,000 for rental. We're going to deduct that. We just give you the best price.
Okay.
On a
Makes sense.
That makes complete sense because how I did it was obviously a new device. Then I have 6 weeks to prove if I'm going to rent versus buy it outright. So it really makes sense to me.
So final questions, I guess. Rogen, to you first. What would be your biggest piece of advice for people listening who are still in that limbo of deciding whether to or not to? What would you say to them?
The greatest enemy of success is fear.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to be able to get out of that on a fear mindset is to do study or their research, be in partner with a company that lessens that risk. It depends on who, but for me, it's Laseraid because of their rental scheme. And just have that growth mindset really as a sole injector who's just focusing on cosmetic injectables. I took space to just put myself out there, follow the trend, and have that capacity to learn each day.
Really good advice. And Ash?
As Rogen mentioned, we've got the rental model. So it's really risk-free or relatively risk-free. And I usually say to people too that if you are nervous that I'm telling you everything you want to hear right now when I'm not going to follow through, you can return that device. So if we aren't going to follow through with what we're promising, then you can return it. And my job at Laseraid is to make sure that we don't have subscription churn. That's that's the biggest part of my job at the moment. So I hate hearing about devices coming back. But my advice to any injectors out there that are thinking about devices would be, do your research, talk to your clients, find out what are they having treatments elsewhere and what are they having elsewhere? How much are they paying? If you were to introduce a device, what would they, like you to introduce? And and just speak to lots of different companies and chat to them about, what solutions do they have? What does their after sales support look like?
Yeah.
How are they going to support you in introducing that piece of equipment? And do your research, within Googling and like David said, getting some references from non-KOL.
Yeah.
There's so much you can find on the internet these days.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty collaborative these days, I find.
Yeah.
You could reach out to someone on Instagram and I'm sure that no one would have any issues sharing anything with you. Make sure that you work with a company that you feel comfortable with and try to meet a few people from the company as well. Try to meet who your trainer's going to be and, meet the salesperson. And, Richard, who's our CEO, is always really happy to come out and meet customers as well. But you need to get a good feel and have a good relationship with that person. So...
Fantastic, guys. Thank you again for joining us, Ash. And it's great to spend time with you, Rogen.
Yeah.
If you did listen to this and you liked what you heard, obviously the details at the bottom of the podcast descriptions. You can reach out to Laseraid and ask your questions. Any final thoughts, David?
No, I mean, I think this is just a really great case study of, we can sit here and talk about the theory and, how it all works from a technical perspective, but to hear like your real world experience. I mean, I know you personally, this is like, this is a real world story. So I think that, we are in an industry that's moving quickly. You do need to be constantly reinventing yourself. So as you said, be brave, take a risk, but take a calculated risk, do your research, and back yourself because what do you say? Fortune favors the brave. There you go.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed that episode, guys. To stay up to date with our latest news and episodes, follow us on Instagram and we're now on TikTok.
You can also now watch our full video episodes on YouTube and Spotify. So if you like what we do, please give us a like and subscribe. Please also consider joining our Patreon for invaluable business and injectable education. Get access to our global community of like-minded professionals, hints and tips videos, bonus podcast content, and more.
All of our social links, Patreon, and contact information are in the show notes below, and we'll see you in the next episode.